The Vortex Diamondback 8x42s and the Celestron Trailseeker ED 8x42s are both a really good pair of binoculars, but which one is the best? That's exactly what we're going to be covering in this video, and we're going to rank them based on price, build quality, focus, and a lot more. So first up is build quality, and I think the Diamondbacks probably win this one. They're a little bit more rugged, and overall, I think both binoculars are built really well. We'll get into some other specs here in a minute and how well they perform, but the Diamondbacks just seem a little bit more durable. I haven't dropped either of these binoculars, so I don't know for sure just how drop proof they are, but they both are built pretty well. I just think the Diamondback is built just a little bit better. There are several features that make it feel better in my hand, like there's a little thumb indent right there that these Trailseekers do not have. And also, I feel like the Trailseekers are just a little bit bulkier than the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks are a little bit smaller of a binocular, even though they are still 8x42, or at least these two pairs are 8x42. That's what I'd recommend getting. Somehow they're just a little bit smaller, and I really kind of like that. Originally, I had these Celestrons, and then Vortex actually sent me these to test out for a few months, so thanks Vortex for that. It was really nice. And so originally, I did like these Celestrons, probably just because I had been using them for about 7 months, and the Diamondbacks were just new. But as I've used them for several months, I really do like the Diamondbacks quite a bit, and I think that they feel really nice. So as far as weight goes, and weight really is a pretty important topic with binoculars, the Diamondbacks are slightly lighter. They come in at 21.8 ounces, and then the Trailseekers are 25 ounces. So really not that noticeable of a difference, and either binocular is fine to be hanging on your neck all day. You can get a binocular harness if you want to spread out the weight a little bit. I've had one. I didn't really like it a whole lot. I would rather just have this strap around my neck. Or I've actually got an attachment to my camera harness. I can just put this on any binocular, and then it will go into my cotton carrier camera harness. That's typically what I do if I've got my big camera with me. So next, let's go into focus. So both of these binoculars have a focus knob that is pretty easy to use. I found that the Diamondback's knob moved a little bit easier than the Celestrons, which I kind of found fairly nice. It's just I could do like one finger. I can do that with the Trailseekers. It's just a little bit harder. So I think the Diamondbacks are better in that area. So the sharpness was good for both of them, but because the Trailseekers have ED glass instead of HD glass on the Diamondbacks, it's supposed to be a little bit better in sharpness, minimizing chromatic aberration, edge-to-edge sharpness, little things like that. But I could not really tell a huge difference between the sharpness of both of them. If you're looking at them really closely, you maybe could tell. But for general birding, you really don't care that much if maybe the edges are a little bit sharper. And the price is different between the two, which we'll get to in a minute. So that could impact your decision. I don't think sharpness should impact it too much, as I really couldn't find much of a difference. As far as brightness and low light performance goes, the Trailseekers are definitely better. I have used these in low light situations several times, and they just didn't quite compare to the Diamondback. Diamondbacks are still really good, and during normal daylight, even in the morning, the Diamondbacks were still really bright, so you could definitely use them, but the Trailseekers are just a little bit better in low light. When I first got these, I think 6 months ago or so, I took them outside and it was pretty low light early in the morning, and I was amazed at just how much light was in here. It was actually brighter in the binoculars than it was outside. So these lenses let in a lot of light, and it is definitely really helpful to have a binocular that's really good in low light, because as birders, we're often up early or out late when there is not a whole lot of light out, so having as much light as possible in your binoculars is really important, and I think these Celestrons do a little bit better of a job with that. That said, the Diamondbacks are not horrible in low light. They still get the job done, just the Trailseekers are a little bit better. As far as eye relief and the eye cups go, generally pretty standard. They both have it. You can move it up and down depending on whether or not you wear glasses or if you're using sunglasses. I wouldn't recommend using sunglasses when birding with binoculars. I never do, just because it's a little bit of a hassle and can influence with can mess with what you're seeing inside the binoculars, just make it a little bit darker. As far as fog performance and waterproofness go, both of them are weather sealed, fog proof, waterproof, drop proof. Pretty standard, I think, for a lot of these binoculars. Definitely want to make sure that you have a binocular that is fog proof, water sealed, and all those things, because you're not just taking these to go see a football game or something. You're going to be out in the field where it could rain. I was just in Costa Rica a few days ago, actually, and since it's so hot there and humid, having fog-proof binoculars is a must. There was only one time where these binoculars fogged up. Both of them fogged up. It was at Carrara area. I think it was like 85 degrees in the morning. We took it from the cold hotel room outside, and they instantly fogged up. My camera has done the same. I don't think any amount of fog proofing would have prevented that just because it's such a big temperature swing and it's so humid in Costa Rica. I was there for 2 weeks though, and every other time they were fine when it was just a little bit colder outside, especially in the morning, and it really wasn't that big of a deal. You just get a lens cloth and wipe them up every now and then. But having something that's waterproof is definitely really helpful, because you never know if it's going to start raining. In Costa Rica, it rains all the time, I feel like, so having something that's waterproof and didn't really have to worry about it. These Celestrons got soaked and they are completely fine. I don't think the Diamondbacks got soaked. I didn't take them out that morning when it rained really hard, but they are waterproof, and so it's nice to know. I would say that these are really pretty comparable in both the fogproof and waterproof area, so that shouldn't really influence your decision at all. They are both really good for that. So another minor detail that I really liked the Diamondbacks for was it's harder to open and close them. So to match your eyes, you can open and close the binoculars, and these Celestrons do that as well, but it's a little bit easier. So I feel like as I'm out birding, they can kind of get bumped around and they can close or they can open. The Diamondbacks hold in whatever position I set them, so I mean, your eyes aren't going to spread farther apart. So once you've got it set to your eyes, you just really want it to lock there unless somebody else is using your binoculars. So I really like that it's just harder to open them. And so I found that they don't just open when I'm out birding, so that way as soon as I bring them up, I know that they are going to fit my eyes. These Celestrons, every now and then they would spread farther apart or something, just because it's a little bit easier. So that's just a minor feel thing, but I did like the Diamondbacks for that. So if we look at price, the Celestrons currently are on Amazon for $360. That's on sale. They're usually $400. And then the Diamondbacks are currently $240. So a pretty big price difference, and you can even get the Diamondbacks on sale sometimes. I think on Black Friday I once saw them for like $180. So no guarantee that's going to happen again, but they are definitely the cheaper binocular. And so when it comes to deciding which one is best for you, I really like the Diamondbacks. I think for the price, you really can't beat them. I haven't really seen any other binocular that is this good. There's some cheaper ones for like $150, like I think Nikon has a pair. There's some Bushnells and stuff. Celestron actually has a cheaper pair that I have not gotten to test out yet. I think it's like $150. So Diamondbacks are a nice little middle of the pack binocular. Celestron Trailseekers are getting up to mid-range or maybe even a little bit higher of a binocular, and that's kind of reflected in the quality of the glass. Again, it's got better low light performance, a little bit sharper, less chromatic aberration, so that is reflected in the price. If you want a good first pair of binoculars, I would recommend getting the Diamondbacks. Actually, I really like these Celestrons, but I think for the price, you really just can't beat the Diamondbacks. These will work really well, and if at some point you realize that you want a little bit better low light performance, a little bit more sharpness, go ahead and go with the Trailseekers. But for now, I think the Diamondbacks are the best pair to get, and I have been really surprised with just how much I like them. I'll put links to both of these binoculars down in the video description below, so you can check the current price and see if there's a sale or anything. Again, if you buy something through that link, I get a small commission, so I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching this video, and if you have another pair of binoculars that you'd like me to review or do a comparison of, make sure that you put that down in the comment section below, and I would be happy to see if I can get my hands on them to do a review for you.